us. All right, so here is our learning goal. We are focusing today on the 11th grade objective number 7 for reading, which is students will evaluate written, oral, visual, and digital texts in order to draw conclusions and analyze arguments. And I've got 3 volunteers for me today. The first one is Shanna. Shanna's going to read A, she's going to read B, she's going to read C, and she's going to read D for us. So let me turn on Shanna's microphone. Okay, Shanna, you have the floor. Can you read A, B, C, and D for us, please?
A. I can critique arguments and ideas, present in modernist literature, and justify my own inferences about them. B. I can examine arguments and ideas, present in modernist literature, and develop my own conclusions about them. C. I can summarize arguments and ideas, present them in modernist literature, and express general thoughts and predictions about them. D. I can recognize a few arguments and ideas present in modernist literature, but might need help identifying some possible conclusions about them.
Thank you, Shanna. Everyone give her a round of applause for volunteering. Thank you very much. All right, thank you, Shanna. Okay, so as you've noticed, like we do in pretty much every learning goal, we have 4 options where you can judge your own ability to accomplish the learning goal. And you'll notice in these 4 options that there are verbs that would explain how you feel your ability to achieve this learning goal right here. And so we have 8 verbs, 2 total verbs in each feeling. So A says, I can critique arguments and ideas present in modernist literature. B says, I can examine arguments and ideas present in modernist literature. C says, I can summarize arguments and ideas present in modernist literature. D says, I can recognize a few arguments and ideas present in modernist literature. Those are the first set of verbs I would like to talk about, and we have a volunteer, Christian, who's going to explain to us the difference between recognize, summarize, examine, and critique. Christian, could you please, let me turn on your microphone, could you explain the difference between those 4? The floor is yours.
The difference between recognize and summarize: when you recognize, you see something is there, you know you can find it. And summarize, you're putting it all together, summarizing everything that's there. And the difference between examining whatever the other one is. One is to examine something, you're just grabbing you're just inspecting it and grabbing details out of it.
Very good.
And the other one, you're going in very deep detail, describing everything about it, grabbing all the information, putting it together.
All right, very good. Give Christian a round of applause, everybody. Thank you very much, Christian. All right, so as Christian explained to us, the difference between these 4 terms, recognize, summarize, examine, and critique, is the level of ability that you'll be looking at these arguments. Recognize means, oh, I've seen that before. Summarize means that you can put into your own words, not necessarily your own words, but you can put into words, you can verbally or by hand express the ideas that are present in the literature. Examine takes it one step farther, and this is what we're trying to accomplish. This is our goal that we're trying to achieve, that you can examine. Like, imagine you have a magnifying glass and you're inspecting these arguments. That was the term that Christian used, was inspect. You're examining these arguments and scrutinizing them. Whereas if we go beyond the learning goal with A, we're not just examining them. Critique means to I already used the term scrutinize, but to go deeper and to evaluate the argument based on your own opinion. So those are our first 4 terms. Okay, Nancy's microphone wasn't, she was our first volunteer, but it wasn't working. Devon is going to explain to us the second set of verbs. We've got justify my own inferences about them, develop my own conclusions about them, express general thoughts and predictions about them, or might need help identifying possible conclusions. So Devon, could you explain the difference between identifying, expressing, developing, and justifying? Your microphone is on.
Okay, so identifying is more like picking out, because it says identifying some possible conclusions. Well, it's more like picking from a list of conclusions what might be possible, identifying. You're not necessarily giving it in your own words, which is what expressing is. Expressing is your thoughts, your words, your conclusions, what you're thinking, what it makes you feel. Developing is more, it's a little bit more articulate. You know, they're more complex and stuff like that. Justifying is taking your conclusions, providing evidence for your conclusions, and then sitting back and watching people be salty because they question you on your conclusions. That's pretty much what justifying is.
Outstanding. Thank you, Devon. Everyone give Devon a round of applause. Give all of our participants a round of applause. All right. Excellent. Okay, so the 4 terms in the second half of the learning goal: identify some possible conclusions. You might need help identifying them. Can you show me where they are is what that's asking. You're asking the teacher or up here, can you help me point to some of these? Express general thoughts means that you are, like summarize, you're explaining what you see, but general thoughts means someone else's opinion mostly. You've got some of your ideas in there, or what people would think, what most people would think. Whereas B says, develop my own conclusions. You're able to create your own opinions, draw your own conclusions about what you see. That's what we're trying to accomplish. B is our official learning goal. To go beyond the learning goal, however, we want to be able not just to develop our own conclusions, but to justify our own inferences. So as Devon said, provide evidence and support from the readings that we have. Those are what we're trying to accomplish. B is our learning goal. So let me turn on the polling option here and explain to me, or not explain to me, vote for me, A, B, C, or D. Where do you think you are in your ability to evaluate text, to draw conclusions, and analyze arguments? Can you give me a vote, please? A, B, C, or D? You guys are awesome. Okay, Clayton's on a mic lag, so we might not get a vote from him. Anthony? Jonathan? Morning, Tiffany. We're in the middle of voting for our learning goal, if you'd like to join us really quickly. Looks like Tiffany's on a bit of a lag, too. I'll go ahead and post the results, though. We had 2 people who were on a bit of a lag, so that's okay. We have 7% feeling not too comfortable with their ability, and that's fine. And then 32% feeling a little bit less comfortable. They feel like they can summarize some arguments and ideas present in the literature, and they can express some general thoughts, but they're not really ready to develop their own conclusions, which we've got about 50% of the class, 49% feeling pretty confident. So my target today is to get you 50% down here in the C, D, and none category, up to the B or the A category before the end of the day. But my question to you, why do you need to be able to evaluate texts and draw conclusions about them? What's important about that? How would that help you? You can just post that in chat, or if anyone wants to volunteer, they can speak on the mic. Raise your hand. Why is it important to be able to draw or to evaluate texts and draw conclusions about them? Devon says it works the brain muscles. Exactly. In the real world, though, why is it important to be able to draw your own conclusions? Tyler says to understand someone's views. Devon, I'll turn your mic on again. Your mic is on, Devon.
Well, because technically in life you have to think for yourself and use the information around you to draw conclusions and make decisions based on that. So doing that with a piece of text really just exercises that ability so that you'll be able to do it more efficiently later.
Outstanding. And so it's like practice is what Devon is saying. You're practicing your ability to come up with your own conclusions. Nancy says you need to be able to express yourself and ideas and beliefs. That's right. Mandy says it helps you understand the topic. Kayla says so you don't look like an idiot around other people. Perfect. All right. Okay, so yes, those are all very, very solid answers for why you need to be able to evaluate text and draw conclusions about them.